Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. It's me, Noel, here giving a quick reaction to the huge news that broke this evening by Ring Magazine. The news that an absolutely blockbuster card is headed to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on the 16th of August. Three huge fights set so far, and yeah, three fascinating fights to be honest with you. So, yeah, before we jump in, because there's a lot to unpack here, please make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel at ESBR Boxing, and follow us on all social media if you're not doing so already. Yeah, let's dive straight in. Huge card, August 16th. The main event will be Moses Itauma, the red hot prospect from the UK, unbeaten, heavy-handed KO artist against his compatriot Dillian Whyte, the veteran former world title challenger, looking to kind of save his own career, but yeah, he's got a big test in front of him in Moses Itauma. So yeah, real crossroads fight there between the young and the old, real passing of the torch fight. Also on the card, we've got a really intriguing super featherweight contest between former world champions Ray Ford and Anthony Cacace do battle at 130 pounds. A really interesting fight, that one. And then we've got a world title fight. Also, featherweight world title fight as Britain's Nick Ball defends his title against Sam Goodman, the highly rated super bantamweight. So yeah, three fascinating fights here. I was buzzing when I seen this. Three really good fights. Yeah, let's start with the main event. As I say, Moses Itauma, Dillian Whyte looks like it's going to be the headline slot. And as I said, real passing of the torch fight there. You've got the up and coming knockout machine, the very young, unbeaten beast Moses Itauma, who faces a big step up against Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte on a kind of a comeback trail of his own. The last kind of year or so, after kind of inactivity due to different controversies, but that's for another day. It'll still be a dangerous opponent for Moses Itauma if he comes in shape. We know what he can do. He's been there. He's been at the highest level. He's been at much higher levels than Moses Itauma has done. But I just think this is a perfect fight at the perfect time for Moses Itauma. I really do. I'm a big fan of Itauma. I think this kid has it all, and he is still a kid, which is absolutely frightening. That he's so young. I know they were talking about breaking Mike Tyson's world champion record, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. But he is absolutely going to be a world champion. I'd be shocked if he didn't. I just think he has it all. We seen him a couple of weeks ago against Mike Ballaghan. He's quick. He's very fast for someone his size. Good feet, solid fundamentals, good combinations, and of course bone crushing power. Yeah, he's just tearing through opponents at ease. He's clearly well above the level he's been fighting at so far. So this is going to be an interesting step up. But I just think Dillian Whyte is too far past his best to kind of to put it up to a Itauma too much or to beat him. Yeah, I just think he hasn't looked good on this kind of comeback. Fighting Ebenezer Tete, Christian Hamer. He's looked very underwhelming in both fights. Of course, he's had a couple of fights scheduled tonight as we're recording in Ipswich. He was due to fight Joe Joyce, obviously, and yeah, I just think he's going to be a bit of a lamb to the slaughter now against Moses Itauma. It'll be interesting if White can land a big hook, his trademark hook, test the chin of a Itauma that hasn't been tested yet to the fullest extent. But if he lands those big shots and Moses Itauma is still there, then it's going to be a relatively quick night for Dillian Whyte. I think he has to start fast, but I just think yeah, it's a bit of a lamb to slaughter here. I think it's going to be a statement knockout win for Moses Itauma. Yeah, then we move on. WBA featherweight title fight. Nick Ball faces a very tricky challenge against the Australian Sam Goodman. Of course, Nick Ball, had a really tough run of fights. He battled to a draw against Ray Vargas. A lot of people thought he won. He then beat Ray Ford in another very close fight. Two quality operators, beat Ray Ford to win the title, and then defended it against TJ Dehenny and Ronnie Rios. Now, Sam Goodman is a step up from them two, in my opinion. I know he's a super bantamweight, of course. There was a lot of talk that he fight now anyway, numerous occasions. That hasn't came to fruition. Now he's got Nick Ball up at 126, and I think it's a really good fight. I think a super talented fighter in Sam Goodman. You know, he had no real chance against anyway, but nobody does. But I think Nick Ball, he could fare better against Nick Ball. You know, Sam Goodman, quick, very technically solid, you know, does the basics so well. Not the biggest puncher though to the third, the kind of the buzzsaw style of Nick Ball, the come forward aggression, you know, the wrecking ball style, if you will, pardon the pun. But I think, you know, if he sticks to his boxing early, he's going to cause Nick Ball a lot of problems early and outbox Nick Ball. But I expect Nick Ball to break him down. You know, just keep coming forward, keep breaking the spirit of Sam Goodman, ripping to the head, ripping to the body, and possibly getting a late stoppage. To be quite honest with you, I think Ball can force a stoppage, being down on the cards. But yeah, really fascinating clash of styles in that one. And then finally, yeah, Anthony Cacace, former world champion, has gotten a big money fight. He's gotten another Saudi payday against Ray Ford, the former featherweight world champion. And yeah, this is a really fascinating fight. You know, Ray Ford, of course, ruled at 126 until he came unstuck against Nick Ball. You know, he had that great Kalmatov win, and he's a quality fighter, real Philadelphia slick star, fast, flashy, but spiteful. He can be spiteful as well, and he is durable. You know, he is. He has that grit in him. We saw it against Otabek Kalmatov, and he's up against Anthony Cacace, who's having a real Indian summer. You know, beat Joe Cordina, beat Lee Wood, beat Josh Warrington. You know, chasing the money fights now, rightly so, and he's got it against Ray Ford. So I'm delighted for Anthony Cacace as a fellow Irishman. In terms of styles there, in terms of a prediction, I think Anthony Cacace, you know, I think Ray Ford is a bit too kind of bit too fresh, bit too sharp for Anthony Cacace. I think just the, as I say, the slickness, the boxing skill of Ray Ford, you know, that Philadelphia style defensively. I think he's too defensively solid and he's too offensively solid going forward. I think he wins the decision against Anthony Cacace here, but Cacace could cause him problems early. You know, Cacace is going to be in your face, you know, coming forward. It's interesting as well. Of course, there's a big talk of the weight when Anthony Cacace, how he still handled getting down to 130 pounds. But I think, you know, he will make the weight. But I just think Ray Ford is going to be maybe a level or two above. But, you know, we've written Anthony Cacace off before, so let's not do it again. Let's not do it again too early. But if I had to put money on it, it's Ray Ford decision for me. So, yeah, this is an excellent card. A really, really intriguing card. Three fascinating fights. Three fights I cannot wait for. August 16th, Saudi Arabia. That was just my quick reaction to the news that we're getting Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte, Ray Ford versus Anthony Cacace, and Nick Ball defending his WBA featherweight world title against Australian challenger Sam Goodman. Let us know what you think in the comments. What do you make of this card? Are you excited? What fight you most looking forward to? And of course, your all important prediction. So yeah, make sure to get involved down below in the comments. As always, we'd really appreciate it. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe if you're not doing so already to ESBR Boxing, and follow us on all social media. Until next time, take care.